Hello guys, welcome back to our anime moments. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of BTTH The Flame Emperor Part 8 based on novel. So let's start. Xiao Yan was also startled, then looked at Yu in front of him. I think the real crescent moon green fruit should still be in this lake. Yu thought thoughtfully. Master, what should we do now? Xiao Yan also asked anxiously. Oh. Your blood. Take a drop of your blood and throw it at the illusory golden monster python, hurry up. The golden dragon king's hurried voice came from the ring. Xiao Yan is also not a person with ink marks. As soon as he gritted his teeth with his fingers, a drop of scarlet blood was thrown at the illusory golden monster python. When the mighty illusory golden monster python felt the drop of Xiao Yan's blood just a moment ago, it was as if the blood in the whole body had coagulated. Colorful sky-swallowing python. The illusory gold monster python had already surrendered to Xiao Yan because it clearly felt the aura of this human being. The colorful sky-swallowing python was the most powerful race of the snake clan, and the illusory gold monster python. Where dare to be presumptuous? Among the beasts, the bloodline has always been oppressive, so when he knew that Xiao Yan possessed the blood of the seven-colored swallowing blood, the eldest brother of the illusory gold monster python, with his eyes wide open, also respected Xiao Yan. Xiao Yan looked at the illusory golden demon python and said, "Take us to the crescent moon Suegua." When the giant snake heard Xiao Yan's words, it also responded with a bang bang bang, as if he was saying to follow me. Then he slammed into the lake, as if there was something at the bottom of the lake. Xiao Yan floated in the icy lake, looking at the dark brown water flowing slowly around his body with surprise. A huge bubble slowly emerged beside him. Then, with a loud bang, it exploded, and some water jets splashed onto Xiao Yan's face, but in an instant, it was swallowed up by the layer of milky white flames. This? Why is there such a hot temperature in the blisters? Is there a world at the bottom of this lake? Xiao Yan looked at the giant snake that crashed into the lake and muttered to himself. Yu, wait for me here, I'll follow it down to sea. Xiao Yan didn't hesitate. Under the protection of the milky white flame all over his body, he directly slammed into the lake like a giant snake. Be careful. Safety is the main priority. Yu's voice echoed on the lake. Look at the giant snake that makes ripples in the lake. Xiao Yan let out a sigh of relief before diving into the lake. Hang tightly behind the fire spirit snake. As soon as he entered the lake, an icy feeling swept over him, and then he called out the body of a different fire, and all the water pressure and air pressure in the outside world seemed to be separated. A somewhat cold feeling hovering around the body, but it does not feel cold at all. Through the isolation of the different fire, the palms easily picked up some dark brown water. Then let them slowly flow down from between his fingers. Xiao Yan smacked his lips in amazement. Such close contact with the water flow really made people feel a little creepy and cold in their hearts. If the protective cover of this flame suddenly dissipated now, then go down on your own. Xiao Yan shuddered violently at the thought of being frozen like a statue. His face turned slightly pale. Big guy, hurry up. Xiao Yan also followed the giant snake and dived to the bottom of the lake. But the pressure of the lake became stronger and the air became thinner as he went down, making Xiao Yan unable to help but frown slightly at the giant snake in front of him. Road. The illusory golden demon python seemed to understand Xiao Yan's meaning, and hurriedly spat out a snake letter, and then the speed was skyrocketing. Straight to the bottom of the lake. Although the strange fire can temporarily protect me, it will consume a lot of soul power. After all, if you lose the soul energy to maintain them, even if you are not swallowed by the water flow, it will instantly oppress the ashes. Therefore, I can't waste precious time. Before my soul energy is exhausted, I must leave this magma lake. Otherwise, the ice sculpture I thought of before will really become a reality. As the giant snake continued to advance, Xiao Yan's mind quickly calculated. The corners of Xiao Yan's mouth twitched a few times. Then he turned around in a dignified manner, looked at the huge two-headed fire snake not far away, and said with a big laugh, "Big man, hurry up. 1,000 meters. 2,000 meters. 3 kilometers. Xiao Yan gradually felt that breathing was a little difficult. Indeed, a normal person would experience difficulty breathing when he dived to 2,000 meters. Xiao Yan was able to dive to 3,000 meters because of his physical fitness and strength. Damn! Why not yet? Xiao Yan cursed as he looked at the giant snake that was still diving in front of him. 3,000 meters is already approaching Xiao Yan's limit as a human being. If it goes down, it is a forbidden area of life, because it has surpassed human cognition, and there may be many unknown crises. Xiao Yan can't help but frown slightly. 3,100 meters. The diving speed is also oppressed by the pressure of the water current at the bottom of the lake, which is getting slower and slower. Damn! 5 minutes. Go back if you don't have it. Xiao Yan couldn't help roaring in his heart. 3,200 meters. 5 minutes passed quietly. Xiao Yan found that his grudge seemed to be burning violently, as if something was attracting it. This situation. It can only be the same flame power. Old bastard. The last 3 minutes. Xiao Yan also gritted his teeth and said tilde dive to 3,300 meters, and the illusory golden monster python also stopped and stood blankly, and then shed its skin. The giant snake was black at first, but now it has shed its skin and replaced it with golden skin. It swims towards the world of flames, not afraid of the scorching heat. Xiao Yan had not had time to take a breath just now, when a scorching hot breath rushed towards his face. Looking around, when you dived to 3,300 meters, it was a scorching magma world. It was fiery red, but with the continuous support of Xiao Yi's flame, Xiao Yan could barely see some of the surrounding environment. Drilling serpent. 1 ice, 1 fire, 2 heavens. There must be a rare treasure under the lava here. The Golden Dragon King in the ring has been paying attention to Xiao Yan's state. If something goes wrong, he will immediately take action, but when he finds that there is icy lake water above and hot water below in the world of flames, Jinlong couldn't help but be surprised by Jinlong's extensive knowledge. Huh? Xiao Yan obviously also knew that the Golden Dragon King cared about him. If he wanted to become a strong man, he was destined to rely on himself, and he could not become a strong man by relying on others. There was no shortcut for a strong man. Don't talk nonsense, follow the giant snake first. It has lived for so many years and must be very familiar with it. Don't lose it. The Golden Dragon King's tone was full of fiery. Xiao Yan didn't dare to be careless when he heard that, even though he was perplexed, he had to hurriedly follow the giant snake. But fortunately, the giant snake is obviously very familiar with the terrain here. Before the undercurrent came, they were able to find the most suitable route to sneak, and Xiao Yan, who followed closely behind it, also took the opportunity to smooth these magma undercurrents. Dodged away. In this fiery red world, there seems to be no other creatures other than the illusory golden monster python leading the way. It is no wonder, after all, the living conditions here are too harsh, if it is not for the illusory golden monster python, which lives by swallowing magma. The alien beasts, other beasts, I am afraid that even the overlord-level beasts with the strength comparable to the strength of the Emperor, it is impossible to come and go in this kind of place freely without being affected at all. Just moments before Xiao Yan was about to plunge into the fiery red lava lake, milky white flames suddenly gushed out of his body, and finally completely wrapped his body in it. The illusory golden demon python's body was projected directly into the molten lava, splashing fiery red lava. Hearing this sound, Xiao Yan above hurriedly shifted his gaze to the place where the magma fluctuated, but he never saw a half-person figure. Where's the person? Seeing the scene that was almost evaporated in an instant, Xiao Yan couldn't help turning his head and shouted at the Golden Dragon King beside him. Looking at the lava lake that didn't move at all, the illusory gold monster python that had just drilled down seemed to be instantly turned into ashes when it came into contact with the lava, and it didn't even let out a scream. Follow. The Golden Dragon King seemed to be thinking about something, and then said to Xiao Yan. Xiao Yan also heard the words of the Golden Dragon King, and used his soul power to control the strange fire to surround himself, and without hesitation, jumped directly towards the place where the illusory golden demon python had just disappeared. The temperature was really high in the beginning. If Xiao Yan hadn't possessed the physique and body protection that had been tempered by the different fire, he might not have been able to endure it for even a minute. With his body floating in the fiery magma, Xiao Yan looked at the slowly flowing fiery red magma all over his body with surprise, and a huge bubble slowly emerged beside him. Then, with a loud bang, it exploded, and some magma splashed onto Xiao Yan's face, but in an instant, it was swallowed by the layer of milky white flames. Xiao Yan followed the route of the illusory golden demon python for a few minutes, and an independent space appeared. There is still another secret in this underground world. Xiao Yang stared at the front in surprise. What appeared in front of Xiao Yang's eyes was not a high temperature like molten lava, but a small, dead world. The low sound of water droplets and the steps leading to nowhere gave people a feeling of trembling. The Zijin monster python also ran out without looking back, indicating that Xiao Yang seemed to be a fatal threat here. Master, this? Xiao Yang also asked worriedly. Let's go, it's here. The Golden Dragon King said to Xiao Yang. Xiao Yang carried the Ihuaheng ancient ruler on his back, the soul of the Golden Dragon King stood on his shoulders, and the two walked up the steps step by step. According to what Yueru said, this should be the crescent moon green fruit. Xiao Yang looked at a fruit tree in front of him, and regardless of the 3721, he put all of it in his pocket. It's not the most precious thing yet, let's go. King Jinlong said. Step by step. Minute after minute. The pure white light shrouded this grey silence. Xiao Yang looked at it calmly, and even faintly saw, in the pure white light, a pink flower was standing gently. Colorful healing flowers. When Xiao Yang glanced at this cyan flower, the Golden Dragon King's voice with great joy suddenly sounded in his heart. The colorful and flaming flower, it is rumored that this flower is only born in the purest place between heaven and earth, only people with sincere hearts, and must also have the blood of the angel family, otherwise it cannot be subdued. The colorful flowers are divided into 7 colors. Legend has it that it is one of the treasures of the angel family. If you master the 7 colors, you can live and die. I don't know if it's true. The Golden Dragon King looked at the pink flowers in front of him. Road? Master, have we found it? Xiao Yang was also overjoyed when he heard the Golden Dragon King's way. He didn't expect to find such a precious treasure so easily. Hey, right? I didn't expect to meet it here, it's also a kind of fate. Sure enough, Qing Yuan was cheaper in the end. A smirk flashed in the Golden Dragon King's eyes. Go and take a look. Xiao Yang also took a deep breath to suppress his inner excitement, and didn't pay much attention to what the Golden Dragon King Patriarch said. Let's go, I will help you keep an eye on the changes around you. The Golden Dragon King also said carefully. As his body got closer and closer to the pure white light, Xiao Yang could clearly feel that the temperature around his body was almost suddenly rising. He pursed his dry lips, Xiao Yang gritted his teeth, and stepped on the soles of his feet again. His body finally rushed into the shroud of pure white light. The body entered the pure white light, and the expected blazing heat did not arrive as expected. Instead, the temperature of the whole body dropped a lot, but Xiao Yang's originally depleted fighting qi and even the power of his soul seemed to step into the pure white. Instantly moisturized within the radiant range. Xiao Yang was also stunned at this somewhat miraculous scene, after a while. When he came back to his senses, his eyes hurriedly swept around, and finally stopped on the pink flower in the center. It is still a pink flower bone, the flower is divided into 7 leaves, and the bottom is also 7 cyan leaves and a rhizome that looks as transparent as jade, as if the most perfect sapphire is naturally perfect. Yu reading. The whole flower looks crystal clear at a glance, making people feel like they can't put it down. Xiao Yang also looked closer and closer to this holy flame. The strange fire on his body also illuminated the originally dark space a lot, and a shocking scene appeared. He didn't pay attention at first, but when the light shone, Xiao Yang realized that next to the flower, the 7 green leaves at the bottom were firmly locked by 7 chains. Master? This? Xiao Yang also looked at the 7 dark chains with great anger, because he felt a wave of evil power from the 7 dark chains. Without the Golden Dragon King saying it, he knew that it must be outside the realm again. The means of the evil race. Damn it! The Golden Dragon King also saw the 7 dark chains, and couldn't help but curse it loudly. There is no one who is more ruthless than the Golden Dragon King. This little pink sapling is suspended in the endless darkness, like duckweed in a sea, drifting everywhere. If it wasn't for the illusory golden monster python to lead the way this time, with Xiao Yan's ability, it would even be courting death. It is impossible to find such a relatively small flower in such a huge area. Master, what should I do now? Xiao Yan looked at the strange object in front of him, but he was helpless, and he didn't dare to act recklessly. Because this is Qing Yuan's and even the necessities for himself to conquer the holy flame in the future. Since we met, it's your fate. This is something you can't find. So, let me come. The soul of the Golden Dragon King also said solemnly. An aura of a giant dragon awakened from ancient times emanated from the Golden Dragon King's body. I'm optimistic. The Golden Dragon King said slowly, obviously facing Xiao Yan. An ancient aura gradually radiated from Xiao Yan's body. Although there was no huge fighting spirit, the aura was fascinating, as if a strong man who had experienced many years had awakened. His eyes and actions were full of the flavor of the years. Colorful Yuan flower, I never imagined that I would see you in my lifetime. In that case, I have the confidence to cultivate Qing Yuan into a true generation of angel wings. The angel family has been silent for too long, and it's time to show their true strength. You shouldn't have appeared in this world, but since you have appeared, you should really exert your power, and you shouldn't be buried in this abyss of the underground world. Let me take yours out, find an angel who is truly suitable for your approval, and let you shine. The Golden Dragon King's golden pupils stared at the flower in front of him, and at the moment when the Golden Dragon King spoke, the pink flowers seemed to have changed a little bit. Since you know what I mean, you still need your cooperation. Although the evil power of this chain is weak, I am worried about other things, and there are things that I can't solve by myself in the state of my soul. The Golden Dragon King stared at life that because of his own words, there is a slight change in the flower road. The seven-colored Yuanhua is worthy of being the most magical treasure in the world. When the Golden Dragon King spoke, pure white light radiated from the whole body. Obviously, this is the seven-colored Yuanhua's plan to use her last strength and the evil seven chains to make it the last fight. Bang bang bang. The Golden Dragon King was overjoyed when he saw the colorful and glowing flowers. It was quiet for so many years, and it was time for the final struggle. Immediately, the Golden Dragon King chanted a mysterious incantation, and a huge vortex appeared around Xiao Yan's body. Another power of the Golden Dragon King. Devour. The colorful healing flowers and the seven jet black chains exuding an evil aura were fighting to the death. The jet black light and the pure white light were at a stalemate. 1 minute. 2 minutes. The battle continues, and the pure white light is gradually suppressed by the jet black light. Go. Xiao Yan's body was controlled by the Golden Dragon King. After the Golden Dragon King completed the spell, the vortex in front of him became bigger and bigger, exuding a huge suction force. Facing the jet black light, he attacked. Puff puff, the huge vortex was drawn away by the powerful suction against the jet black light. The jet black light had just swallowed up the pure white light, because as long as the pure white light was swallowed up, their seven chains could be reborn. But who would have expected a whirlpool to appear suddenly, and the power emanating from this whirlpool is the nemesis of evil forces. The jet black light was like seeing a ghost and hurriedly ran away. The seven chains that had originally firmly locked the seven leaves of the seven-colored Yuan flower were also slightly loosened at this moment. The huge golden vortex made them all feel terrified. Even fear. Because they all know that if they are absorbed in, it will be doomed. Golden Dragon King? How can it be? The figure transformed by the seven chains was swallowed one after another into the vortex of the Golden Dragon King before he had time to tell any more. Bang bang bang. The seven dark chains resembled the sound of glass breaking, and they were absorbed into the vortex and disappeared without a trace. Hey, it seems that my worries are too much. The Golden Dragon King looked at the seven figures who disappeared and said. The reason why the Golden Dragon King wanted to awaken the last trace of the colorful Yuanhua was because he was afraid that there would be other powers besides these seven figures. Just in case, the other was to devour these demons to gradually recover own strength. The extraterritorial evil clan also has the division of strength, which can be basically summarized into 5 levels: heaven, earth, respect, emperor, and king. In the past, when the Golden Dragon King was at its peak, it was naturally possible to deal with the aliens of the emperor level, but now it is in the state of the soul, and its strength is not as good as before. Only the 2 levels of heaven and earth are slightly better. But fortunately, the 7 figures in front of them were at the previous level, so there was the scene of the crushing just now. Phew! The Golden Dragon King restored control of his body to Xiao Yan's hands. What a huge power! Xiao Yan felt the power in that vortex and couldn't help but say, "Master, but these powers are evil powers, will you directly absorb them like this?" Xiao Yan was also worried. "Don't worry, I will refine and absorb their power. Although this method is somewhat inferior, otherwise, I don't know that my strength will return to normal that day." The Golden Dragon King also sighed. "By the way, when the matter here is finished, I will retreat to absorb these powers. Next, let's take a look at the colorful Yuyan flower." Hearing this, Xiao Yang also nodded and walked towards the colorful Yuyanhua. 7 dark chains that exuded evil aura shattered. The colorful Yuyanhua, which was originally weak under the chains, actually grew a lot at the moment when the chains were broken, and the weak figure seemed to regain some brilliance. What's going on? Xiao Yan was also puzzled. Tilda never heard of such a situation. Normal, in this case, the 7 chains not only limit the growth of the 7 colors healing flower, but also continuously absorb the power of the 7 colors healing flower. When the power of the 7 colors healing flower is almost absorbed, it will be the ****** thing. When the alien race succeeds. If we don't show up, within 3 years, something will definitely happen, and then there will be 7 more powerful aliens from the extraterritorial level in this world. The Golden Dragon King is also heavy. Said. "Put it away first, it's too weak now, keep nourishing it with your pure lotus demon fire." The colorful Yuyan flower is not only a strange thing, but also likes flames, especially the most pure one like Xiao Yi. Different fire, its recovery will be even greater. The Golden Dragon King also smiled at Xiao Yang as he watched Xiao Yang's efforts and Qi Cai Yu Yang who have failed. That's the only way. Xiao Yang also helplessly did as the Golden Dragon King said. On his finger, the ring bestowed by the ancient Emperor Torsha glowed slowly, and the colorful Yuyan flower in front of him was like a delicious meal. He let Xiao Yang absorb it into the ring and feed it without any extra thought. Inside the ring, Xiao Yang also deliberately opened up an independent space for the colorful Yuyanhua, and the pure power of the source of the different fire kept nourishing it. The colorful Yuyan flower also slowly grew spiritually. The first flower bud slowly grew into a second one. "It's time to leave here," Xiao Yang also muttered to himself. After taking a short rest, regained some strength, and then returned along the same path. He, little girls, look at your delicate skin and tender meat, say. Where is Xiao Yang? If you don't say anything, don't worry about our savage hands. A bald head smiled wryly at Yueru. Yueru was actually caught by this bald head. It turned out that Yueru had been waiting for Xiao Yang on the lake before, and seeing that Xiao Yang had not come up for a long time, she couldn't help but feel a little worried. Ah. Really, how could I let Xiao Yang go to such a dangerous place? Yueru blamed herself. After speaking, Yueru's eyes also had some thoughts flashing through her eyes. Without any hesitation, he buried his head and headed towards the lake water. Xiao Yang was now asking about the medicine for himself. 1,000 meters. This was already the limit of Yueru, and only when Yueru dropped to 1,000 meters did she realize that there were actually 2 worlds. Above is the lake, and below is the scorching lava world. Yueru also persisted in the lava world for a while, but she couldn't stand it any longer before returning to the lake. Yueru is not as lucky as Xiao Yang, she has the body protection and the huge soul power. But the mutation happened. Just when Yueru returned to the lake, a big bald head appeared. How captured Yueru effortlessly? Originally, with Yueru's strength in the early days of 3-star Do Di, if he escaped, even the mid-stage strength of this bald-headed 3-star Do Di might not be able to be caught. But Yueru just descended to the bottom of the lake and consumed a lot of strength, so she was caught. Don't bother, I won't say it, Yueru said firmly. Between the lakes, Xiao Yan held an ancient ruler of eternal fire that was flowing with magma. The tip of the ruler pointed at it, and Do Chi rolled over it, like a bald head that formed a fiery red cloud. Let go of that girl, Xiao Yan said solemnly, with fiery and violent waves emitting from it. He had been promoted to the early stage of the 3-star Do Di before, and now he does not know what to do with the mid-3-star Do Di. Xiao Yan himself is also waiting to see. Mueller's bald head also saw Xiao Yan and looked at him with a smile. With his bald head's eyesight, he could naturally see Xiao Yan's current strength, but how could there be a trace of fear? The bald head has not yet been shot, and the sense of oppression has already surpassed what the Samsung Do Di has. As expected of the young master of Qing Cheng, he can still have such a strong bodyguard. There is no doubt about Muller's strength, even if he is regarded as the best among many proud sons. Compared with those ordinary 3-star Do Di midterms, it is obviously much stronger. This time, Xiao Yang is afraid that he won't be able to show his power. Indeed, compared to the two, it is clear that Muller has the advantage. After all, the latter is in the middle stage of the 3-star Do Di. He holds a superior weapon and has many means. No matter how you look at it, Muller has a better chance of winning. Xiao Yang on the lake looked at the other party's actions with a flat expression, but he didn't care at all. His eyes were only fixed on Mueller. The strength displayed by the latter is indeed far beyond the midterm Samsung Do Di. However, in Xiao Yang's eyes, there is a fiery fighting spirit slowly rising up. Before he has broken through the Samsung Do Di, facing an opponent of Muller's level, he may not have much chance of winning, but now is not the same. Why do you want to arrest my friend? Xiao Yang also asked. Originally, there is no need for me and you to have no grievances and no enmity with you, but I also like the crescent moon green fruit, and I can sense that the people who took it before are not the real crescent moon green fruit. The real thing should be on you. Crescent moon Suegwa exchanged the life of this little girl. The bald-headed Muller also said solemnly. I don't know why, but on the way Muller could feel the aura of fear from Xiao Yang's body and the ancient ruler of eternal fire. Then see if you have the ability. If that's the case, then we can only ***** it up. Let's see. 3 mysterious transformations of heavenly fire. Xiao Yang looked at it coldly, his fighting chi instantly increased with the blessing of the secret method. It is also the middle stage of the Samsung Do Di. The same strength as that bald Muller. I'll let you know, the gap between the real 3-star Do Di and the secret method. Mueller apparently looked at Xiao Yang and mocked. Although the secret method can improve the strength in a short time, it will cause a lot of damage to oneself, and the soul and even the strength cannot be improved. In Xiao Yang's hand, the ancient ruler of eternal fire expanded, and the colorful tips of the ruler were closed together, like the tip of a snow-white spear, shimmering with cold light. The dark golden vindictive aura of the bald head also wrapped around his body like a storm. Mueller clenched his spear in his hand, and said coldly, I'll let you know that in the middle stage of the 3-star Do Di, you can't support you being so arrogant in front of me. Swish! At the moment when the voice fell, the figure of Mueller holding a long spear suddenly shot out. Several flashes appeared in front of Xiao Yang. The shadow of the spear shook and turned into countless rays of red light, covering the sky and covering the earth. Coming down, he pointed directly at the vital points of Xiao Yang's body, focusing on fighting like an attacking soldier. As soon as Mueller made his move, he was fierce and ruthless. It seems that the strength of this 3-star fighting emperor in the middle stage is indeed well-deserved. However, in the face of Muller's strong attack, Xiao Yang also laughed, without the slightest fear in his eyes. The ancient ruler of the ancient fire of eternal fire shook his hand, and he was facing it head-on. On the tip of the ruler, there were 23. The rays of light continue to converge, and the terrifying high temperature contains terrifying power, like 10,000 stars. Bang bang bang. On the lake surface, the guns and rulers collided with each other, the sound of gold and iron erupted, sparks sputtered, and every collision there would be ripples and waves of fighting spirit, shaking the air, and the water waves on the lake were also shaking violently. Right? In a short period of only 10 breaths, the two fought for dozens of rounds. Clang! The gun ruler touched again and again, and both were shaken away. Xiao Yan's arm shook violently, and the tip of Yi Huaheng suddenly turned into a white streak and shot out, suddenly stabbing Mueller's throat at an extremely tricky angle. However, just as it was about to hit, a spear shadow stabbed, directly deflecting the snow-white hair. Mueller's expression was cold, and his mind moved, only to see the snow-white hair scattered violently, turning into countless snow-white rays of light, like sharp blades. UU reading www.ukangshu. The calm was overwhelming, covering every part of Mueller's body. It's really a weird weapon. Xiao Yan couldn't help but say. If it wasn't for that weird weapon just now, Mueller would have been injured long ago. Muller's eyes were slightly stern. Xiao Yan's ancient ruler of strange fire was also extremely strange. The terrifying high temperature on the ruler, even in the battle, would have a trace or string into his body, so that he had to separate. It caused him great trouble. However, Ray Mueller was not a weak hand either. With a shock of the magic spear in his hand, he saw crimson magma rise up, forming a magma shield directly in front of him, red and hot. Countless colorful flame rulers stabbed on the magma, making a crisp sound, and finally bounced back as many as possible. The figures of Xiao Yan and Mueller also shot back at the same time. Muller's face was sinking like water, and the magic spear in his hand made a long mark on the ground, and Xiao Yan also fled back, and many flames on his body constantly surrounded himself and the ancient ruler of different fire, facing Muller. Kept attacking. In the previous fight, both sides were ruthless, but obviously they were all taken over by the other side. Many people were attracted by the battle here, and then began to pay attention to the eyes on the lake, all of which were slightly condensed at this time, and it was obvious that the battle should be coming to an end. I have to admit that you are very strong. But the blessing time of the secret method is coming soon, right? It's time for this cat-eat-fish game to end. Take my last blow. The bald-headed Mueller was also mobilizing his grudge with all his strength at this moment. Xiao Yan also shrank his pupils tightly, and his body was full of terrifying power. In those shocking gazes, above Mueller's head, the scarlet origin chi whistled, as if a huge scarlet light wheel was formed, and terrifying power was exuded between the vibrations. Looking at the red wheel, Xiao Yan's eyes narrowed slightly. Bear! The huge crimson light wheel was suspended in the sky above Mueller, exuding fiery and violent fluctuations, which directly caused the ground below to be withered and cracked, and even the temperature of the lake water rose a lot. Between the lakes, those eyes stared at this scene with a hint of horror. Then, that's actually an immortal fighting skill. It's not surprising that this Mueller is a young city lord and masters immortal rank fighting skills. This Mueller has so many trump cards. Then Xiao Yan is going to be in danger. With Muller's strength and the power of immortal level fighting skills, I am afraid that even those top-notch prides have to be a little more cautious. After all, it's an immortal level fighting skill, and it's enough to change the situation. Many whispers sounded, and those looking at Xiao Yan showed a little more sympathy. When the latter broke through the secret method, he showed a very strong background, but unfortunately, he did not seize the time after all, and now the secret time is over, and all that awaits him is. This Xiao Yan is still young and energetic. If he endured today's tone and turned back to devour the crescent green fruit to practice, I am afraid that Mueller will really help him. Someone sighed inwardly. There was a trace of warmth in Yueru's eyes, and a rune like a crescent-shaped birthmark slowly glowed. Yueru also felt the terrifying power contained in Mueller's fighting skills. If Xiao Yan was touched by that power, even a little bit, his fate would be doomed forever. Don't worry, I believe I can handle it. Xiao Yan was also aware of Yu's actions. Although he didn't know what that crescent-like rune was, the price of trying to use it was definitely not small. Yueru also looked at Xiao Yan, who was still calm as always, and bit her lip slightly. She didn't know why, but she still believed in Xiao Yan. The slowly glowing crescent moon rune also fell silent. Now, you also smiled at Xiao Yang. Among those many sympathetic eyes, Xiao Yang's expression was also slightly solemn. He looked at the huge crimson light wheel condensed above Müller's head, and the fluctuations emanating from it were extremely violent. This kind of power is indeed far beyond ordinary heaven-level fighting skills. Moreover, Xiao Yang also discovered that the spiritual energy of heaven and earth all over his body also solidified at this moment. I actually master the fighting skills of the immortal rank. Xiao Yang whispered to himself, this Müller is indeed a formidable enemy. If he has not broken through the 3-star Do Emperor, I am afraid that he will be able to face the opponent's attack like this. Choose to retreat. But unfortunately, the milky white flame instantly covered the whole body, and the fighting chi continued to gather, beginning to pour out of Xiao Yang's body at this time, constantly whistling around him, and finally gradually expanding, like a milky white tornado, entangling him. The astonishing fluctuations were released, and even the lake water under his feet was trembling. Those eyes outside the lake noticed this scene and burst into amazement. I'm asking you something. Hand over the crescent moon fruit. Otherwise, die? Müller looked up at Xiao Yang and howled, as if a king was judging a sinner. Xiao Yang looked at the majestic Müller in the sky, his vindictiveness restrained, and the ancient ruler of eternal fire in his hand exuded a strong power. It's up to you. Not worthy. Xiao Yang also said calmly. Although we have no grievances or enmity, since you don't know the good and the bad, then you will be offended. Immortal fighting skill, magic spear golden wheel. Müller attacked Xiao Yang from the sky with the magic spear. Bringing up the water of Qianzhong Lake, the terrifying golden wheel aura is strong and terrifying even in this space where the strongest are suppressed. As you wish. The first foot of the 7-layered sky-shattering ruler, the first step of the 3-step swimming ruler. Xiao Yang shouted loudly. The terrifying flame power is attached to the ancient ruler of the eternal fire. With Xiao Yang's mobilization, the huge flame power and Xiao Yang's own vindictive energy merged together, and it also brought a water column of thousands of meters from the lake. Bang bang bang. The different fire constant ancient ruler and the magic spear collided with each other. Boom boom boom. At this moment, the originally calm lake surface was turbulently rolled by the strength of the two of them. Xiao Yang forcibly stabilized himself in this fierce battle, raised his pale face, wiped the blood from the corners of his mouth, and a bit of madness also appeared in his dark eyes. Come out with full strength. The frantic surging in his eyes, Xiao Yang spat out the blood foam from his mouth, his hands changed handprints again, and a huge phantom shrouded his body again. A phantom appeared, and Xiao Yang felt a sense of dizziness in his mind, but he still gritted his teeth. The terrifying impact of the soul emerged, and finally spread to Müller, who was originally concentrating on mobilizing the spiritual energy of the surrounding world to supplement his fighting skills. At that moment, Müller's pupils were all dimmed, first the fairy step fighting skills, followed by a powerful soul attack, 2 consecutive shocks, the damage to him is too great. Poochie? A large mouthful of blood spurted out of Müller's mouth. He looked grimly at Xiao Yang who was calm in front of him, but found that the latter smiled wildly at him, flipped his palm, and a delicate fire lotus of 23 colors quietly emerged. Then slammed it on Müller's body. Blast! Boom! The fire lotus erupted, and the bald-headed Müller was directly blown away thousands of feet. Along the way, he spat out a mouthful of blood as if he didn't want money. He didn't expect that he was ruthless, and Xiao Yang was even more ruthless than him, and he directly exchanged punches for punches. This Xiao Yang is so terrifying. Actually defeated Müller in the middle stage of the Samsung Do D with the strength of the early Samsung Do D. The people around whispered. Anyone can see that the battle has been decided so far. Young city lord, are you all right? A follower who was also bald hurriedly helped Müller up. Müller's speed was too fast, and their entourage hurried on their way. After finally chasing Müller, they saw that Müller was beaten so badly by others. The injured Müller was not in a coma, but he was seriously injured and looked at Xiao Yang fiercely. Let's go. It seems that this great fortune cannot be continued, too many methods have been exposed, and then the entourage carried the bald Mueller on his back and flew in the opposite direction. All he can do now is to quickly treat the injury of the young city master. Of course, someone else will take care of it. Xiao Yan also knew that there was no need to separate life and death, and he should keep a hand on Mueller. Although he saw that Mueller was seriously injured, he avoided the key point. He was breathing heavily. It's all right. Nuo, the crescent moon green fruit you want. Xiao Yang took out 3 ripe crescent moon green fruit found at the bottom of the lake to Yueru. Although he did get more than 10 at the time, for Yueru, 3 were enough, and of course Xiao Yang took the rest. Yueru was really surprised to see that Xiao Yang was calm in the face of Mueller, and even defeated Mueller in the end. Let's go, it's time to go to the depths of the ruins to take a look. Xiao Yan also took a short rest and then said to Yueru. The people who were there to watch the excitement also dispersed one after another, because they also witnessed the battle between Xiao Yang and N.A. Mueller, and they only had one thought in their hearts. This Xiao Yang is not easy to mess with. This video will end here.